You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, how are y'all doing? Well, we're down to the home stretch. Very busy week, but today we're going to take a break from all the hair pulling and talk about fun things with the chamber, because I was there last Thursday at your State of the Education Summit, and I was very impressed, as always. And in fact, we may show one of the clips. I don't know. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right. We've been showing the security one.
Oh, yeah.
For both school board and city council, because it's kind of a combination thing. But I thought maybe the one in the end, the little piece about where BISD's going, since y'all were very supportive of that. We may show that. Do you have that loaded up in the bullpen, Taylor? He's got it going on always. He always anticipates what's on my mind. The only thing we're going to talk about politics is early voting is today and tomorrow, from 7 to 7 at the sub-courthouse. And then Saturday, of course, is the big day. So get out and vote, and there you go. That's all we got to say about that.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, it's important to vote. And that's... But let's talk about chamber in a minute. But we're going to run through the sponsors. We got a new one. Hopefully this one, new one, is part of the chamber. We'll see. CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. So we're behind Stone City Soup. Got a little problem over there, Taylor? Okay, good. All right. Right behind, like I said, Stone City Soup, 317 Southwest Wilshire. We got all the plans. You got all the classes and the regimen, and on their website, CrossFitBurleson.com. Check it out for their memberships, and there you go. And thank you to Shandy Stocksdale. She's going to be handling some real estate pretty soon for the Allard family. So thank you very much. She knows all the deals. She'll be on Thursday. Coach says, hopefully, she's been running for place 4 on the school board, and she's going to talk about that. And I may ask her a couple of real estate questions just because. But Shandy Stocksdale, give her a call if you're looking to move in around this area. Also, auto, what can you say about auto that hasn't been said already? Believe me, a lot's been said about auto. But I spend a lot of time there these days because that's where I do my BNI networking stuff, and that's also just where, if I'm going to visit with somebody about whatever, that's where I do it, because it's just a pleasant atmosphere and good food. So our place on the highway in Ellsbury, you know the deal, you know the place. And also, you know where this is, over at the Standard, Wild Cigar and Culture. Go get yourself a decent drink today. It's a happy hour on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And they have cigar specials and all the rest. And they also have specialists, is also what I meant to say. Because if you're looking for a certain type of cigar, they have it, and they can help you find it. Thank you also to Tiffany. You should be getting the Local Life magazine out this week. It's the May issue. I don't know what the May issue is about. Do you know yet?
I do not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I tell people, other than this wonderful platform here, this is probably the best advertising for your dollar in the area, because it goes to 30,000 homes and it's very directed. And I'll go into autos, a restaurant, or I'll go into some, like a car repair or whatever, and I'll see several issues on the table and stuff like that. So it gets around more than just to the mail. It gets around a lot of the community's businesses. So call Tiffany Nico if you're looking to advertise this summer. We've got some special deals for you, and we'll see what you got. Also, yes, we're going to split them up. That's right. I forgot. I've been doing this a while, and I get in this, zone, whatever, but we're going to split them up because I got 4 now. They're all with BNI, so I thought I'd lump them together about halfway through the show. But it looks like you've been doing your homework. You have 4 pages of notes.
I do.
Holy moly. Well, let's talk about that Summit of Education. Is that something that goes on every year?
Well, actually, it's going to be, from here going forward, it's going to be every other year.
Every other year?
The State of Education is going to be, we're going to alternate that with the State of the City. So next year it'll be State of the City, and then the year after it'll be State of Education.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I enjoyed it a lot because, sometimes, I've said this many times on the show, when you're a teacher, you kind of get dialed in your own little world. And so when you can step back and see what's going on from a different perspective, it's always a good thing. And right. I was very pleased, and I'm really glad you got Dr. Jimerson out there. He's so shy. He had to twist his arm, didn't he? No, he's so funny because it's like you go to a school board meeting and have all the presentations of the little kids that won this, or the high school kids that won that, and he's in all the pictures. It's like,
he's great.
Yeah. Oh, my friend Lisa's watching. Lisa Smith from BNI. Thank you, Lisa. So you're going to alternate it between the city and education. Okay.
Yes. So last year we did State of the City, and this year we did State of Education. So then next year will be.
You probably work pretty closely with Michaela Hill, I would imagine.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she gets me guests on the show. But we were talking. I probably won't be doing the BSD show in the summer because it's a summer vacation,
Right.
And it's hard to get people to do something on their vacation. Well, and that's another thing. People think that we have 3 months off. We don't do anything for 3 months. No, there's a lot going on in the summer.
Right. Yeah, I know. For our business over breakfast, we usually have the culinary or the CTE program come in and talk, and we're not going to have any kids that I know of that are going to speak during the summertime. So, we may fill those with somebody else or something like that. So.
Well, it's been a great deal for me to have the BSD on. Not me personally, not just for numbers and all that business, but also for me personally to say, wow, we really are doing a lot.
Yes,
And,
we are.
Yes, and the chamber does have a piece of that, in a way. Y'all are very supportive of BISD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And y'all, like this summit, you collaborate a lot together. What's your next big plan, though? Okay, I know you got something laid this month, the honey tour, right?
Yeah.
But I'll let you call the shots. You tell us what you call the agenda here. What you want to talk about?
Well, we do have our network at night, our May network at night. That one's going to be May the 9th. So it's not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. It's going to be at the Cleveland Railroaders.
Oh, yeah. The baseball team. Yeah, that's great.
That's usually our May one.
Really? Well, I like the little stadium. It's kind of like the way it was way back when I was a kid. That a lot of towns didn't have Major League Baseball,
right?
And they had minor leagues, and that was just as popular almost.
Yeah.
I remember my grandpa. We'd go to minor league games, and because we didn't have the Rangers yet,
right? And
when we did get the Rangers, they were we lived kind of 40 minutes away, but you go see the Dallas teams, whatever. I always liked those baseball games.
Yeah, and they're great. I love going there and just kind of hanging out, and I like to take Cash there during the summertime, the summertime, and go to the games. And the players, they make you feel they're touchable. They don't make themselves come across as being celebrities that you can't talk to them or anything like that. After the games, they sign autographs, and so they talk to kids, they play with kids, they take pictures with kids, even adults. And so I like it because it's more personable.
You know Todd Barham by any chance?
I do not.
He is their team chaplain. He's a pastor over in Cleveland. And last year I went to a game and I ran into him there. And so I sat right behind him, and he knows all the players, obviously, and their situations and, what jobs they have. And because a lot of these guys, all of them have off-season jobs.
Right.
Like they used to do back in my day. When I was a little bitty kid, my dad had a guy named Dan Reeves, who was a Dallas Cowboy. He was in their sales department. And another time I met Bob Lilly. He was in, and these names old timers like me would recognize. But back in the day, before they're getting paid billions of dollars, they had actually have jobs, and they were in the community. And it's just kind of like a throwback to that.
Right, right.
And so, then you used to work for the Railroaders, didn't you?
I did in 2017. So right when it was coming up, I started before. In fact, a picture popped up the other day of me and Cash at first base before it was first base. So it was really cool.
So you still have connections there, obviously. Yeah. How old is Cash now, by the way?
Oh, he's 7.
Ah, yes. Yeah, well, let me twist you over and talk about him. I know you put these pictures on him. He's a really handsome young boy,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course, I could tell you dote on him a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's really a good kid. We had his first ranch rodeo this weekend, and this is the first time that this team actually worked together, and so they had to move up, and they won 7th out of 16, and so they won $26 a piece.
All right.
Yeah, so they were super excited. Well,
for a 7-year-old boy, $26 is a lot of money. That's all right. I don't think I ever had $26 when I was that young, but anyway.
I know, and they did it themselves, but we practice, and then when we get the money home, he's got 3 buckets, and he puts 10% for tithing, 10% for savings, and then the rest in his M&M bucket that he can spend on whatever he wants.
Well, you're raising him right then, because that's a good pattern to be in. I remember when I was a little kid, I had a similar kind of situation, So that's good. What else is going on in May?
So May, we have our big honey tour bike ride coming up. Title sponsor for that is HEB. This is the first year that we've partnered with City of Burleson, and they are actually bringing in the BTX Honey Tour Carnival. And so that's going to be Thursday through Sunday, May 25th through the 28th. It's going to be in Old Town Burleson. And so they're going to have food vendors, games, local vendors, amusement carnival rides.
Really?
It's going to be so much fun. And we're doing that because we want to make Burleson a place to play and stay for Memorial Weekend.
Right.
So we have our Honey Tour bike ride that Saturday, but Friday night they're kicking off Hot Sounds of Summer with the band Limelight. That's going to be at the Very Calvin Plaza. And I think it's going to start at 7:30. And of course, free concert. So we're telling all of our bike riders, hey, bring your families, come in and you can come stay, go stay at Jellystone, stay at one of the hotels here in Burleson and
Not the ones in Fort Worth.
not the ones in Fort Worth, ones in Burleson. Yeah. And then, go take the kids to the carnival and then go to the free concert Friday night, do the Honey Tour on Saturday and stay Saturday evening to go back to the carnival or whatever, and then go home on Sunday or Monday, whatever you want,
Well, where are these carnival rides going to be? Is it going to be in the plaza?
I believe that they're shutting down streets in Old Town.
Okay. I was thinking, the plaza is not that big,
Right, yeah.
But it's big enough, I suppose. I'm sure, like the Baptist church I go to will probably offer parking and things of that nature. They're pretty good about that. But
and of course, Jen and Jessica and, Parks and Rec, they're doing a great job planning that part of it. We're dialed in and focused on the Honey Tour, the ride part of it. So, they're doing a great job. And this is also the first year that we've gotten Alvarado involved other than just a rest stop. So they're coming in and their police department's going to help us with streets and crossings and they were super excited. They've never been a part of it before. And like I said, other than the rest stop but this year they're all in. And so I believe they're going to have vendors down around their square. And so it's going to be good. I'm super excited about it.
Well, I probably mentioned this last time. My dad did it. He used to ride bikes, that Wichita Falls race every year and that kind of thing. He did y'all's for 2-3 years, and he would stay at Jellystone in his RV. And my son, who was much smaller at the time, he and I would go stay overnight with them, and it was a real good thing. But I think this is going to be much bigger than what we're talking about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
With the carnival rides and and the food vendors, and is the farmers market also going to be going on in conjunction with this?
I don't know. I don't know what Jessica and them have spoken to them about. So I'm not real sure.
Well, I'm envisioning just a 3-day Mardi Gras without all the hair pulling and other stuff. But it's really been a great place to do stuff is downtown, Old Town. And it's making a real community out of, when I moved here, there was a community, but if you weren't really involved in church, you're kind of outside of a lot of activities. Now they still have church, obviously, but they have a lot of stuff for the community itself.
Right.
And I think that's really, really great.
Yeah. I think everything that they're doing is great. I think the city's doing great and Parks and Rec and, economic development and, we're so fortunate to be able to partner with them. On all these things.
Well, and that is it makes it living here much more of a better feel. Sometimes I get distracted with all the other stuff that goes on, but we really do have a very strong community and a lot of good people doing nonprofit work. I got some of those shows on next week, and it's just reassuring.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most people really mean well and want to do well. It's a good thing.
Right.
So this is all on Memorial Day weekend.
It is. And as of right now, we have 243 registered riders, which is more than we had this time last year. We usually average about 1,500 riders. So that's exciting. And if you are a bike rider, this is a ride. This is not a race. And so we are starting with our 46 and 67 mile routes at 8 o'clock. And then our 7, 20, and 30 mile routes we'll do about 8:15 or 8:20. We want to stage them a little differently this year to kind of help with traffic and for the safety of our riders and traffic control and concerns and all that kind of stuff, So we're gonna shoot for that. But
did you ever talk to the people in Wichita Falls who do this bike race? Because they get about 11 to 15,000 over the years. Some years were more than others. But they had one year at 15,000 riders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's a scene.
Yeah.
You know, when they cross over, they start in the downtown area, Wichita Falls, and they cross over a bridge. And unless you're in the race part of it, you walk your bike across that bridge, and it's, you know, just this wave of people coming across. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get them all across that bridge and walking their bikes. And then there's my dad. He'd say, "I'll be in the Texas shirt," and like half the other. I promise you, 2/3 of the folks had either Texas jerseys or USA flag jerseys, or you know, uniforms.
Well, this is the first year that we're actually having like jersey shirts that the riders can order themselves. They don't come through us. They you know, they can order them, and I actually bought two. One to frame and hang up in the office, and then another one to raffle off at the event. So, you know, this is technically our 22nd year, but had we have continued it through COVID and everything else, it would have been our 25th. But so this is the 22nd year. And then we have our golf tournament scheduled for June the 8th. That is sponsored by Clear Financial Network. It's going to be at Hidden Creek Golf Course this year. And, of course, food will be served by Fresco's. Jaime does a great job.
He does.
He serves our food every year for us. And we'll have raffle items. And then our patio party music sponsor.
Patio party. Okay, I got to say that right.
Yep. Is City of Burleson Economic Development, and they are. So Andrew Dolan is going to play.
Okay, he does a lot of stuff around here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and he's great. You know, they played our gala in April, and that was so much fun.
I was going to ask you about that too, but I was going to let you do May's events as well, but. Yeah. But as far as, so you got two big events almost within 8 days of each other, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You're
Don't
going to be
ask
busy.
me what I was thinking when setting the calendar.
Well, you do a golf tournament in July and August. It's much hotter.
Right.
You know, and you got to, you know, that may not get the kind of response you want.
Right.
But, you know, I like Hidden Creek Golf Course a lot. I haven't played as much as I used to, but I thought, you know, this is a pretty good course for a community course.
Oh, yeah.
You know, very nice. And so that's going to be a lot of fun.
That is. And, you know, we're team of 4 is $600. You know, we've got, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I know last year we had Rafael Palmero play with us, and I think he's going to come again this year. So,
how do you know Rafael Palmero? I mean, how did you connect in with this golf tournament?
Well, so I met Kurt Conger with Dr. Pepper while I was working at the Railroaders. And so Kurt and I have just become really good friends, and he's friends with all these guys, and he's friends with Neil McCoy and, you know, all the likes of those. And so he'll call me and he'll say, "Hey, you know, you want Raffy to come, or do you want so-and-so?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You know, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's pretty good. Have a, you know, ex-Texas Ranger celebrity, whatnot.
Yeah.
You know.
He was my assistant last year during the drawing, so
Really?
I let Raffy be the assistant.
Okay. but you, obviously, the next 5 weeks, you're going to be needing about 5 of you, right?
Oh, yeah. No, well, yeah. Like, you know what? I have to give a shout out and props to the Chamber Board of Directors. You know, they have really come together and have taken a lot off of me. In fact, Kendall Frazier, who is with Frost Bank, and she's our chair this year, she is actually heading up the golf committee. And so they're the ones that are getting the raffle items and just kind of putting everything together. So that's taken a lot off of me so that I can really concentrate on Honey Tour. Going forward, what I'm trying to do or what I will do is I'm going to get a binder for every single event that we have, and just from, you know, how to plan it from A to Z, what you do this month, who to contact, who your contacts are, what you need, how many of those you need to order, just so I can hand it to you and you can plan the event. And so that's what the goal is. And then I will give that to our board of directors events committee, and then they will start kind of planning the events. But, you know, all that just kind of came up. So I'm kind of like, I kind of look at it right now as like I'm in the red. It's getting really messy before it'll get a lot cleaner. Yeah. And so I'm at that point right now where, you know, doing the events because nobody can do them but me, because nobody really knows. Yeah. And so once I get past the events, then I can go through, create those binders, and then when it's time to, when they decide which committee, you know, is going to do what, then I can say, "Oh, you're going to be on the golf tournament committee. Here's your binder. You know, when you're done with it, give it back to me." You know, and that way anybody can come in and plan that. So
well, that you may make it easier but for some later people, but they're not going to replace you.
No.
I'm just saying, and anytime you decided to, it's time to do something else or whatever else, they're not going to replace you like somebody like you, because you really put your heart and soul. That's what I meant to say, is that you're irreplaceable.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, you really are. You put your heart and soul into all these things, and they come off very well. And, I can't imagine anybody else doing this job.
Yeah. I love it. I do. I just, I think it's where I'm supposed to be.
It is.
It's definitely where I'm supposed to be.
Well, and we're benefiting from that. So, honey tour into May.
Then the golf tournament.
What day again?
June the 8th.
Okay, that's a Thursday, isn't it? Okay, that's right.
Yeah. And then Jessica, who is our, she's our government relations and marketing coordinator. She has, she's amazing. She is doing a lunch and learn on June 15th at Russell Farm Arts Center. And it's going to be an emergency preparedness for business. So she said, unfortunately, every community is susceptible to natural hazards, and businesses themselves are no exception. However, the majority of small to medium-sized businesses are unprepared for an emergency. After a disaster, research shows about 40% of small businesses will not reopen. An additional 25% close their doors for good. So please join us on June 15th for an emergency preparedness for business lunch and learn. Burleson Emergency Management Coordinator Joe Laster and Johnson County Emergency Management Director Jamie Moore will speak about what their office can do for your business during a disaster and what your business can do for them. Also learn what role the Chamber will take on to help our members prepare, respond, and recover from disasters. The goal of this Lunch and Learn is to help prepare your business, respond to a disaster, and recovery from it with little to no impact. Lunch is included in registration, as well as an emergency preparedness guide created to help you organize your own business. So that was her idea. She came to me and she said, hey, I really want to do something like this. And I said, hey, go for it. She's great. She has all these, she thinks outside the box, and she's doing all this stuff. And, who am I to hold her back from her talents, So I'm like, hey, go for it, So we're going to have that June 15th, and, you can, I think it'll be great for businesses. And so, you can register online at our website.
Is there any time of year that slows down for you?
Well, it used to be between Christmas and New Year's, probably around December-ish.
Christmas and New Year's, 2 weeks, you mean? I'm talking about over maybe a couple of months. But
No. But it used to be December-ish, but, not anymore, because I like to plan ahead. So in December, I'm already planning for, everything going on in 2024, which all of it should have already been planned. In fact, we're already planning that stuff now. We're working on the calendar now. We're doing all that stuff. So 2025 is probably when we'll start planning, in December of 2023.
So you about 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
I know you can't just throw these things up in, an hour and a half, but still, it's some far thinking there.
Yeah, it is. And I do that because I try to get everything already taken care of. Like usually at the beginning of the year, we'll go ahead and we'll reserve all of the locations for all the business, for all the luncheons and whatnot, all the events we have. That way everything's already done that we can do ahead of time. And then at the last minute, we have time for the, by the ways that we forget.
Well, you keep having those ribbon cuttings right when I'm on the air. I went to your last one last Thursday at my friend Mandy Harden's, the Creative Concepts by Mandy. And as soon as I got off the show, Taylor and I hooked him over there, and you'd already gone, doggone it.
I didn't actually get to make that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I forgot what I had.
Well, it had a good turnout, and Mandy's got a really impressive shop. If you're looking for promotional items, that's a free plug for my B&I friend. And, those are pretty nice. Yeah. But you have to schedule those too in advance. I mean,
yes.
And also the Tuesday night things. Now, is that once a month still?
It's the second Tuesday of every month, and it's once a month. And then the last Tuesday of every month in the morning is when we have our business over breakfast. So I think we're going to kind of tweak that one a little bit. Maybe try not to be there so long. It's like an hour and a half, but it gives us, Derek and I have been talking about it, and maybe we'll try to tweak it down to maybe about an hour or so.
Where do you have that again?
This next one's going to be at Russell Farms. During the summertime, it'll be at Russell Farms, but it is between Russell Farms and the Brick.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Except, of course, you also done stuff with First Baptist, obviously, with the Summit and Pathway, with the Expo back in February. So y'all do move around a bit.
We do.
Well, hopefully
we try to
one
show
day,
the love.
Oh, yeah, I know. But one day, hopefully, you'll have a place that can be kind of a home base for y'all for that kind of thing.
I would love that.
Well,
I really would.
I know there's been talk about that for 10 years, and some plans around the golf course. And I think they had a plan, master plan done on that about 4 years ago. And, but of course it takes a few bucks and, there's a lot of process and probably have to have some sort of referendum on it. And that's fine. That's the policy, but we'll see. Let's hope. Anyway, so these next 6 weeks, it sounds like, you'll be putting in extra hours. Yeah. How do you balance that with your family? I know how important it is to you.
Well, so I used to basically work 24/7. When I didn't have a family and I worked with the NFL players and stuff, I was working 24/7. And it was nice, even with the railroaders, you have to work in the evenings and the mornings and whatnot, and then when I was lucky enough to get this job, and I just thought, you know what, my family's getting, my son's getting older and I've got to make time for them, and so luckily with this job, it's, pretty much 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 4, whatever, our hours are 8:30 to 4 Monday through Thursday. But I usually stay a little later, if it's something that I, really, really have to focus on or I'm running behind on, I can always take my computer home, and then I, play with Cash or help him ride, we ride our horses together or whatever, we may play basketball or whatever, just for a little bit. And then I get him in the bed and get him to sleep. And then I'll sit in my bed and, work a little bit and then lights out.
And your husband, I'm sure, has to pitch in.
Yeah. Now, sometimes he's on the road. So when he's on the road, it's just me. But when he's not, then he pitches in. I think there was one evening that I had something to do, and he had to take Cash to a riding lesson. So. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I remember my kids were about your son's age, and it was a juggling act between my wife and I because we both worked, and it was, and they would share, my kids would share strep throat. It seems like it's your turn. No, it's your turn, and that kind of stuff. Oh Lord. That is one of the benefits of school teaching is that I could take days for my kids when they were ill without having to, get a doctor's note or whatever, or make an explanation to some boss. They're pretty generous about that.
Yeah. And we are too, the chamber is too. I recognize that, we both have families and, sometimes you just, I'm thankful that the board allows me to go and do things, like I can go eat lunch with Cash or he's got field day coming up on Thursday. It's like, I think an hour and a half. So I'll go do that. But, I get to work at 7:15 in the morning and sometimes I work till 5 o'clock. So, I know I'm putting in, my hours.
But it isn't like you punch a clock, which is a good thing.
Right.
I've been in jobs. BSD wasn't like that so much when I was working for them, but I've had jobs in the summer or when I was a younger person where you had to, clock in and I hated that. Well, but it's halfway through the show. I want to talk about the other half of our sponsors. These are all BNI friends of mine, and it's a good thing. Southern Gym, of course, with Gayla.
Yes.
I see her once a week, and as you know, my wife works for her, so I hear about it. They keep pushing back the date to go downstairs. They wanted to have it done by this weekend because it's the Kentucky Derby, and then it didn't happen. And they said, let's maybe hopefully have it by Mother's Day. It didn't happen. Gayla swears there's going to be heads rolling if they're not open by Memorial Day downstairs. There's going to be some. Head knocking going on because she wants to get down there. And I've heard, I haven't seen it yet, but my wife says it's very, very nice. And so just be patient. It'll be there soon. But what she brings to this community. We're a high-end jewelry store and services that, a lot of communities don't have, like design, cleaning, repair. That's a big one. And so thank you, Gayla. Also, this is a new one. This is a kind of a short-term advertisement, but I thought he's a BNI friend, so I thought I'd give him a couple of months to get his business started. It's First Do Detailing. It's Caleb Patino, and he'll come to your place of business and detail your car and wash it. And he has a power washer, portable one, and he'll detail it. And I've had several of the B&I people have had their car done by him. They said that it looked better than when they bought it. So he really does a very meticulous job. That's first do detailing. Call Caleb. I see this number in the screen's got all this glare.
817-776-0478.
Yeah, see, there you go. You do it better than I do. But he's a young man with a family, and he's trying to get this business off the ground. So he'll come to you and various different price points, and there you go. So give him a holler.
I need to call him.
Yeah, well, he's going to do my car soon. Old Pro Roofing. You know these folks?
No.
Okay, well, then I'll talk to John about getting you in the chamber. Jeremy Bleeker is like our vice president, so we'll put the kibosh arm twisting on him. John Williams is their sales rep for the area, and he's a very fun young man. Old Pro Roofing has been around a long time. 817-734-2756 is John's number, and they'll come and check out the roof and give you an honest assessment of it. They're not there to these are not fly-by-night guys that come in with the storm. They've been here a long time. And I've seen a couple of their signs in my neighborhood, and they'll tell you if you need new roofing or if you just need a little patch job or something like that. So call John, 817-734-2756. Also, Texas Farm Bureau with Melissa, 682-804-0534. She's my insurance agent. I've had several people that sat in your chair, and they are customers at Texas Farm Bureau, and they say they are the greatest at customer service. And I didn't ask them to, throw that in there. They just do it. And John, back to the old Pro Roofing, does a lot of insurance companies, and he'll tell you not all of them are very cooperative. And he says Texas Farm Bureau really goes out of the way to be cooperative for their clients. So 682-804-0534. Do we have any nonprofits coming up? Oh, we got one more. I forgot. Sorry, Lisa. She's actually listening. This is a new one also. So I got it, registered in my head. This is Stop Restoration. What they do is they come in, if you have a water leak, if you have some sort of damage done, they'll come in and assess it. If you got mold problems like everybody seems to have in Texas, they are licensed to do this. It's not something you can just throw your name on there and do it. You have to go through this very exacting process from what Lisa described. And so it's, and she would tell you that a lot of people make promises they can't keep in restoration. They will keep their promise, and I've seen that in my own eyes. So cleaning and restoration, environmental controls, whatnot. So call Lisa. We're at Stop Restoration. Okay, there you go. Well, next week I have Crazy 8 and Next Step on, and they got some stuff going on too. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So sometimes we always have these promotions. You ought to send us some stuff too about these events coming up, the honey tour and the big part. Just send us the logos and the golf thing. We'll just fling it up there.
Okay.
Yeah. And my vast listening and viewing audience will immediately get into action. Well, we'll see. Anyway, so for the rest of the summer, what are the long-term plans for the rest of the summer?
Well, we have our fashion show, our Power Hills. They're doing their fashion show in July at Lost Oak Winery, and that's really good. I think they're going to try to have 8 boutiques this year. Mm-hmm. They've got Kendra Scott's already doing some, donations, and that's gonna, it's exciting.
Power of Heels. They did something recently, if I recall.
They did the Women's Day luncheon.
There you go.
Yes,
we were talking about that. I think once before.
Yes.
So who does the modeling? Is it outside models or they do it themselves?
No, the boutiques bring their own models.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then they'll have vendors, like some boutiques that just want afterwards you can go and buy the clothes that you see or whatnot, So it's a fun. I enjoy it, and of course you get a glass of wine at lunch.
There you go. Well, that may be a little bit out of my ballpark there, but you get pretty good attendance on that, I'll bet.
Yeah, we do. Last year we sold out, so
really?
it was really fun. Yeah.
Well, you go at Lost Oak, it is a good incentive. It's become like the go-to place for a lot of these kind of events, isn't it?
Right. Yep.
Like they had with the Harvest House a week ago Sunday.
Yes. I went to that. Cash and I went to that.
How was that? I wasn't able to go. I had obligations that Sunday, so
it was good. It was good. Yeah, we donated a little money, and Cash bought one of those. What do you call those little plants? The little bitty ones.
I don't know. They're small.
Anyway,
or like the bonsai trees you talking about, or cacti, or cactuses.
Something like that.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
hey, you bought him a plant.
Yeah. He got something, but he only got it because you could pick a horse and a bale of hay and put it in there, a fake one. So that's what attracted him.
Okay, well, fine. Okay.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Okay.
August, we do have our our BISD new employee luncheon.
Oh, yeah. I remember that way back in the day.
Yes. And so I'm putting a bug in everybody's ear right now because we always ask our members to donate items to put in the goodie bags that the teachers get. And so we usually ask for 200 items. We just ask that it not be like pens, pencils, or paper or notepads or whatever that, it be something that the teachers will use, whether it's like dry erase markers.
They will use those.
Yes. An eraser,
I could promise you, though, everything like that teachers will use, because if people think that like BHS or Centennial has this big storeroom, you just walk in, it's like, all this stuff to choose from. That's not true at all.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Supplies really are limited, particularly paper. That we had a couple of years where we were going into May basically on a very strict ration of paper. And it wasn't like because we were blowing through it. It's just because sometimes when budgets are cut,
right,
supplies get cut.
Right.
Because it's either that or personnel.
Yeah.
And so there were many times, many years, in which I bought and other teachers bought their own supplies. And that's just the cost of doing business for us. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
So, they definitely need anything like that or classroom-related dry erase markers and erasers and, little things you don't even think about, like a pack of batteries. Things like that, or cleaning, some sort of solvent to clean the whiteboards. Because,
the spray.
The spray, yeah. Those little things you don't think about until you need them. And
right.
Then they are.
Yeah.
And I tell you another thing they could put in is coffee.
Well, it's funny that you say that because a couple of years ago, it's kind of taken off now, but a couple of years ago, a business I guess they went to Sam's and just bought boxes of Snickers, and they just put their label on the back of Snickers, and they dropped it in there. And then last year we had some that donated candy and then like peanuts and even like the little bitty miniature Dr. Peppers or whatnot. And it's just, something that'll help get a teacher through the day.
Well, it's just a thought. It also does, the thought does count.
Yeah.
When I did this is 1988, the chamber at that time, it was a really small thing. And it had lunch and they'd say nice things to you. They didn't give you a bunch of stuff, and I didn't expect a bunch of stuff. Right. And now I was like, wow, look at all this. These rookies are getting all this good stuff. Whereas when I was a rookie, But they also, you go to the convocation. You participate in that with BISD?
No, we don't.
Okay, well, you go there, and usually it's at Centennial. And in the cafeteria, they'll have, bags of stuff. And there'll be people there that are giving you, supplies or, here's my card. And here's a couple notepads with my name on it. And that's all good. That's, hey, it all works. And it was fun. Yeah. When HEB opened up, was about 12 years ago. I don't know. I went there. They gave us a bunch of groceries. And not everybody likes coffee. So I got, hey, I'll take your coffee. I didn't have to buy coffee like for 2 months. You know, so
that's a good idea.
Well, coffee and, they talk about snacks and all that. That always helps. Just those little things. It didn't have to be keys to a new car or anything. Right.
Yeah. It's the little things that count.
It meant a lot to the teachers coming in because many of these were they were new to Burleson. They don't know anybody or they don't know a lot of people yet.
Or maybe they even just graduated. They just got their, teaching certification.
Particularly at the elementary levels, there was a lot of younger teachers and they come in and it was very reassuring to them. So y'all do a really good job with that.
Thank you. Well, we are looking for sponsors for that. To be an honor roll sponsor, it's $300 and you can sponsor 8 teachers. And then with that, you actually get 2 tickets to the event. If you're a Gold Star sponsor, it's $200 and you can sponsor 4 teachers. And that's just that way teachers don't have to pay for their meal. You're basically paying for the meal for either 8 or 4 teachers, or you can pay for 1 teacher.
How does one do that? If let's say we sponsor some 8 teachers, is there an app or something we would use?
They contact me. They contact me.
Okay.
And then and I think you can even. I'll have to see. I'm gonna make me a little note here to look online and maybe just open that up. That way, people can go in and just sponsor. Sponsor the teachers and stuff. All other sponsorships need to go through us because we kind of have to monitor those.
Sure.
But this right here, I bet we can probably open up And so if you want to sponsor, give me till this afternoon. If you want to sponsor, you'll be able to go online. I'll make it open. You'll be able to go online and just sponsor those teachers.
I have to see what my wallet looks like in August.
Yeah.
August and the summer months for me, since I teach adjunct, I don't work as much, but I don't get paid as much either. So, we budget, being the life of an adjunct is such that you're all on a semester by semester basis. And that's just, I've done that for a long, long time and I'm used to it. But anyways, that sounds like that. I really do appreciate that luncheon.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really nice canvas bags that they get too. So, we have, if you want to get your logo on the back of the bag, it's $250 and we'll put your logo and it'll go out to 200 teachers. And those teachers keep those bags.
Oh, yes, they do.
They are very nice bags.
Well, they're nice bags, but you also you see all the stuff that we keep. It's like, particularly you get pack rats like me a little bit. It's like, I don't know if I'll ever need this again, this piece of paper, but I know that one day I will need it and it won't have it. So, your desk gets loaded up with all this stuff. And you get a lot of books, a lot of textbook donations from the publishers.
Right.
When I left in 2016, I literally had 3 bags of old textbooks.
Oh, wow.
That had been given to me in seminars and, AP sessions and whatever. I did, and I said, well, here at school, you can have them. We don't have room for them now.
Yeah,
so they're in my garage somewhere.
And now they don't use textbooks.
Yeah, they don't. I don't use textbooks at Hill because it's an unnecessary expense. They can get what they need. Go over to a half-price bookstore and get what they need.
Yeah.
Because, Texas government and American government, it's still 3 branches of government, supposedly, and blah, 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 blah. I'll supply the other stuff. So go get yourself a 2017 version at half price instead of paying a whopping big sum for.
Right.
So that you'll find that out soon.
I still have a little time. I guess I was telling you earlier about his savings. I think we're just going to put savings towards college.
Well, that's a good plan. I honestly, on that topic, by the time you're a young man is about going to college, I don't see it being like it is now because I don't see how it's sustainable.
Yeah.
You can't be this way and actually be able to afford it. I love my alma mater, Baylor, but I could never get into that school now financially. Back in my day, it was doable. Now, unless you got a ton of money or are willing to take on a ton of debt, this whole system has to change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm taking away from your time here. What else you got?
Okay, so May 30th, we have our business over breakfast. It's going to be at Russell Farms Arts Center, and our title sponsor is going to be Next Step Women's Center.
Oh, really? How about that?
Yeah, and then we have our ambassadors, our diplomats, and our power heels. If anybody wants to get involved in the community and get involved in the chamber, this is the best way. They can become an ambassador. The ambassadors go out and they do all the ribbon cuttings.
Right. They're the ones with the blue jackets.
Yes, they're the ones with the blue jackets. And that's a little more of a time commitment because you're going, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think right now they're booked with ribbon cuttings all the way up to June, which is great.
It is great.
And the reason I say that is because we've had 49 new members since January. So that's amazing. I'm super excited about that. So we have, our ribbon cuttings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, either at 11 or 11:30. And then if you want to be a diplomat, if you don't have that amount of time and you want to be a diplomat, the diplomats meet, for their meeting, and then they'd meet once a month to do random acts of kindness. And they'll go, and it's usually the second Tuesday of every month, which is the same night as our network at night. So they'll go do random acts of kindness, and then they'll come to the network at night right after. And the random acts of kindness is they just kind of pop into different businesses and say, "Surprise, we're here! Thank you for being a part of the chamber. Is there anything that we can do better? Is there anything you need?" Just basically just say it's a way of saying thank you.
How does one become a board member like Jeremy Bleecker is? Do you get be chosen by the chamber itself?
We have a board committee that goes, and they basically kind of see the direction that we're going, and then they figure out which businesses kind of meet those needs.
Well, I'm just saying, how does one become a member of that directing board? They have to serve a certain length of time and get chosen to be like Jeremy's position. He's on that board. of
Right, he's
directors.
on the board. So yeah, at one point, whenever Jeremy came on, we as a board and the chamber decided, okay, this is kind of the direction we want to go. Which businesses kind of fit that need? For example,
Right.
like this past election, or I say election, selection.
Yeah.
Yes, we didn't have anybody that represented industries.
Right.
We didn't have anybody that represented restaurants, and so anybody that represented, the car washes. So we want to
We have
have
car
those.
washes here?
We do.
Okay. How about that?
So we wanted a voice on there to represent all car washes, all industries, all restaurants, and so we just kind of looked and we said, hey, you know what? Let's check in, to McLean Classic Foods and, Old South Pancake House and, Varsity Car Wash. And so we sat down, talked about it, kind of vetted them a little bit, made sure that, we actually interviewed them and said, hey, listen, I think we interviewed about 8 or 9 people and it's an interview process, and we let them know up front, this is what we expect. These are the expectations. These are the responsibilities. This is the time commitment. Can you do that or can you not? And we had several of them that said, this time I appreciate it. This time is just, it's not the best timing for me. Doesn't mean that in the future it won't be, but we've got 3 really great board members now, and that's kind of how, so we go in and we choose which ones fit, the direction that we're going.
And the president serves 1-year terms, more or less?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
and they're
chair.
chosen from the board, the chair. Okay.
The board chooses those. I have nothing to do with that.
Well, yeah, I know, but still, I'm sure you're always pleased with the choice because you're dealing with the people that are most interested in the success of the chamber.
Exactly. I
so.
mean, I can't give our board enough props. They are very supportive, and they want to be involved, which is very important because, like I tell them, in 5 years, you can look down or you can look back and say, oh my goodness, look where the chamber was 5 years ago and look where it is now. And I had a hand in that. So they have a vested interest in that.
There's no question that the board has really revived under your leadership. No question, because, we don't need to get on the history of it, but still you really have expanded it and grew it to its current state. How many members do we have?
12?
No. I meant on
members.
Members.
505. Actually, Take 5 Oil Change was our 500th member.
Is that right?
Last week, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so we have 500.
Where is Take 5, by the way?
They have a couple of different locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, getting close. I want you to be able to take the last as long as you want and kind of summarize, because we've gone over a lot of different things and people probably, try to take notes. But do just go over the calendar from today until you get tired.
Well, our biggest thing is the Honey Tour bike ride. And just keep in mind, anytime anybody has any questions, please email me. I'll give you my email right now, gdaniels, DANIELS, @burleson.org. I will answer a lot faster that way than I will a phone call because I'm at my computer nonstop. So if you want to get involved, if you want to volunteer, at the Honey Tour bike ride, let me know. We're looking for a few more volunteers. It takes about 200 people to put this on, 200 volunteers to put this on. So Honey Tour, May 27th. Then we have our golf tournament, June the 8th. If you want to play, go on. You can actually register your team of 4 online at burlesonchamber.com, and you can register for that. June 15th is our Lunch and Learn for Emergency Preparedness for Business, and that's going to be at Russell Farms. You can go online and register for that. In fact, the whole year of 2023, you can go in and register right now and go ahead and register and get it off your plate. Our fashion show, July 28th. August is going to be our BISD New Employee Luncheon. We don't have a date yet, but it's usually like the first week in August. As soon as I get that, I will post that. Don't forget our Business Over Breakfast, the last Tuesday of every month. This one's going to be the ones during the summer are going to be at Russell Farms Art Center. Our network at night is going to be May 9th at the Cleburne Railroaders. And if you are interested in having a business spotlight, I don't know if you've seen those or not. Jessica posts those on Facebook. But if you haven't signed up for our e-blast, you can go sign up for our weekly e-blast by going to our website. And then there's 5 little boxes at the top. And the very last one says e-blast sign up. If you click on that, on Mondays and Thursdays, I believe Thursdays, Jessica will send out one, and it'll have, sign me up for a business spotlight.
Uh-oh, somebody's calling.
Yep,
That happens.
Sign me up for a business.
Joe Biden, what do you want now? I'm on the phone here. Yeah. Well.
But yeah, they can sign up for a business spotlight. We'll have one of our diplomats go out and visit with them and do a video and
it's a lot going on.
We do have a lot going on.
Have Jessica or you, if you do it yourself, put that all on you put on one screen, like your monthly calendar, and we'll throw it in the back of the ad runs like we do for the nonprofits and say, because that's a lot, and so but that way we keep track of the dates and whatever else.
Right. Okay.
And but I really appreciate what you do for the community and the chamber and for business. And
well, I want to give props to the community. I mean, listen, you can tell that they are very supportive of the chamber. I mean, with 49 new members since January. So I want to say thank you to the community. Thank you to the businesses in Burleson. Thank you for your support. It's not I mean, we're here because of you, and so if you want to get more involved, reach out to me. We can sit down and meet, and I can tell you how to do that.
Well, I appreciate what you do, though. It makes a better community for all of us. And I hope you get some satisfaction from knowing that you got a big piece of that. Tuesday and Thursday, we have politics shows. If you want to see what we're talking about, check my webpage out. And it's going to be, busy week. So y'all get out there. Like I said, early voting is today and tomorrow, and voting on Saturday. So there you go.
Don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote. And we'll talk to y'all next time.